It real loud, and some of his spit got in my face. And I mean, he wasn't spitting on me, but as he was talking. And he body slammed me on the floor at the foot of his bed.
What did he do after he slammed you on the floor at the foot of his bed?
Well, it startled me. It didn't hurt, but it startled me. And so I kind of let out an unexpected sound. I guess it could be best described as a yelp, sort of. Can't really explain it. It just was unexpected. So it startled me, and then the impact and the sound came out. And I think he misinterpreted, because he said, "Don't act like that hurts." He called me a bitch, and he kicked me in the ribs. And that hurt for real. But he went to kick me again, and I put my hand out and to block his foot, and it clipped my hand and hit my finger.
And he said, hit your finger?
Yes, my left hand.
Okay. So he kicks you once in the ribs, and he goes to kick you in the ribs again, and you try to stop him with your hand, and he kicks your finger, right?
Yes, on the second kick.
What happened after that second kick?
I screamed really loud. I think I yelled out my finger or my hand or something to that effect.
And what happened after you yelled that out?
He stormed out of the room and left, went downstairs.
And what did you do?
I rolled over and sat up and stood up and was holding my wrist. My finger was starting to swell up. I couldn't hear Travis. I didn't know what was going on. He was left very angry. I was in the room. The bedroom door was open. I kind of peeked around the bedroom door on the landing and looked down the stairs. Couldn't see anything. And then the doorbell rang. And so I was listening at the top of the stairs to see who it was. I don't know who it was, but whoever it was, he sent away. And so the front door shut, and then I heard him walking back on the tile. And then I leaned my head back in, and I could hear him climb the stairs, and my anxiety shot through the roof. I didn't know what kind of mood he was in or how he was going to react or what he was intending to do. And he came in, and he seemed visibly more calm, and he could see that I was holding my wrist, and he wanted to see my hand.
Was he yelling at you? Was he assaultive with you after he came back to the room?
No.
What was his demeanor like?
He was calmer, but when he first asked to see my hand, I kind of pulled back a little just as a reaction. And then he said, "Let me see it," but he said it kind of in a snappy, stern way. So I didn't want to provoke him anymore, so I just let him look at my hand.
And you say your hand, was there a particular part of your hand that was injured?
Yes, the ring finger on my left hand.
The which finger?
The ring finger.
Okay. Did you seek medical attention for this injury?
No, I didn't.
Why not?
I didn't have medical insurance, for one. Two, I was worried that maybe the police would get involved if I went down there, or if I guess I could have made up a story, but Travis made a splint for my finger at his house, and I just stayed with that. It was swell. We put ice on it, and he had 2 or 3 little popsicle sticks that he broke so that they were the length of my finger, and he tied it onto my finger.
I think it also has to be, as you talked about, why you didn't get medical attention. Why didn't you call the police?
I would have never called the police on Travis.
Why not?
I couldn't imagine doing something like that.
Why not?
It would have felt like treachery. I wouldn't have betrayed him. I was loyal to him.
You just mentioned the word loyalty. Given all that you went through, what did you have to be loyal to?
Well, I looked at him as someone who had his own issues that he was struggling with, and I didn't see him as a bad person. I just saw him as somebody who was conflicted and had issues, just like everyone has issues. He just had different issues, and I wanted him to get help. That was one of the conditions we had made the day before. Of course, he didn't want me to say anything, and I promised him I wouldn't say anything as long as you get help, of course, and he said he would. And so I just couldn't imagine doing anything to betray him.
The splint you put on your finger. Let me ask you this. Was the finger broken, as best you could tell?
I believe it was broken.
Okay. Do you still, is that injury still visible on you today?
I think so. It's crooked.
Could you hold up your hand for us so we can see your finger? Hold it up, Jodi, if you can. What do you think about when you see that injury on your hand?
Checks and balances.
Sustained.
How do you feel when you see that injury on your hand?
Checks and balances.
Goes to state of mind and battered women's syndrome, Judge.
Right.
May proceed.
Jodi, hold that finger up for us again, would you? Would you take a look at it?
Would
Take a
I?
look at your finger.
Yeah.
When you see that, what does that remind you of?
It reminds me of the incident. I try not to think about it,
Try not to think about who.
about the incident,
Okay. Why not?
because it's unpleasant.
You scared when you think about that day?
I don't go too far in my mind with it because it's not very pleasant. It's a very negative experience, and I wish I'd handled it differently.
What do you mean by that? Wish you handled it differently.
Sometimes I regret not making a record of these things, and sometimes I regret not getting medical help because at least it would have healed correctly. And maybe not, it feels arthritic as opposed to any of my other joints.
But it's, you didn't want Travis to get in trouble, right?
Yes, we
Is it correct that you didn't want Travis to get in trouble? That's how you felt?
Objection leading. Call the roll.
I definitely didn't want him to get in trouble, and I didn't want anyone to know that that happened between us.
Didn't want anyone to know that. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Because you were embarrassed. But he beat you up, right?
Objection leading. Now he's introducing embarrassment.
Abstain.
Were you embarrassed that he beat you up?
I was more like ashamed.
Ashamed. You felt shame, right?
Objection leading. She said she did.
Rephrase.
The shame you felt was part of the reason that you didn't want anyone else to know, right?
Objection leading.
Abstained.
Were you thrilled and happy that Travis beat you up?
No,
Did you want to shout it from the rooftops?
definitely not.
Why not?
I just felt, I guess embarrassment is an accurate word, but I just felt it was stronger than embarrassment. I felt very ashamed, and I didn't want people to know that we had this kind of drama in our relationship, this level of problems. And I also felt like I used to judge women that would get into situations like that.
That's completely relevant to why she didn't tell.
I used to think that women that were in situations like that, that it was partially, if not equally, their fault because they kept staying there. And so I went home and I thought, I was disgusted with myself. I felt like, great, now I'm one of those people. Like I was thinking that I got into this situation and here I am just staying, and that I had become that thing that I used to judge.
You realized at this point in time you were one of those people. Is that what you're telling us?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be back in the jury room by 10:25 tomorrow morning. We will start promptly at 10:30. Please remember the admonition. Have a nice evening. You are excused. You may step down.
Because I only have 34.